make sure I'm recording so that I do not lose all of our good stuff. Hey everybody, now I'm going to just quickly open up my Facebook page so I can see all of your chat in the chat box, because I'm usually used to having everybody on Zoom so I can see the chat in there. So hopefully if you're on Facebook, I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes just to jump on live. So let me know when you are here. I should be able to see your comments. So just give me a thumbs up, give me a hey, let me know where you're from, let me know how you're excited, how you're feeling about this week that we're going to spend together with this 5-day Stronger You challenge. Now, let me just open this up, give me just one little moment here to have a look to make sure that everyone can see me on Facebook. For those of you who haven't met me as yet, my name is Edwina. Let me just quickly, here we go. I can see somebody's watching. I don't know how many are going to be on live, but I'm recording this, so if you can't make it live, that is completely okay. I get that a lot of you are probably working. A lot of you are probably maybe homeschooling right now, so that's completely fine. So I'm going to post the replay a little bit later on so that you can go through and join and get all of the great content and information that we're going to be covering over this 5 days. Now, I'm just going to set up my screen here. So like I said before, my name is Edwina, for those of you who have not met me yet. And if you want to chat along in Facebook, feel free to do that. I just will not be able to see probably a lot of the comments. I'll try and flick between the both. So I'm in Zoom, but I'm actually live streaming onto Facebook. So I thought that's probably easier than having you all join in on Zoom. So that I can also share my screen with you as well. So I'm really excited that you've all decided to join today. I'm really excited that you've decided to make this commitment to yourself, and you're in the right place. You're absolutely in the right place if you really just want to get this kickstart to this stronger, fitter, healthier version of you. So I hope you can feel the excitement. I'm really excited to share this information and this content with you. It's a brand new 5-day challenge that I've been spending a lot of time creating for you, and really just making sure that you can get the most value out of this. So like I said, I am Edwina. Okay, so if you are just joining us on Facebook, I'm the creator of the Fit Vibe Strength Movement Program. I'm a mum of 3 little boys, or I shouldn't say little boys, they're not so little anymore. My oldest is 17 and my youngest is 12, and then I'm 12, nearly 13, and then a 14-year-old as well. So my boys are a little bit older. So but this week is all about you, right? This is all about you, your results, your goals, and making sure that we can get some really awesome, crazy momentum building for you to be able to just really use this as a kickstart through your journey. And obviously we want you to have a lot of aha moments. There's going to be a lot of great content. So it's really just about making sure that you are getting what you need out of this. And I really just want to encourage you to be engaged, to really just use me as your coach for these 5 days to really get the most out of this journey. So how it's going to work, okay, is every single day during the challenge, you're going to get an assignment, okay? So I've emailed you your first assignment this morning, and I can see a few of you have already started to fill them in. I've had some notifications of that coming through, which is fantastic. If you haven't had time to do it yet, that's completely okay. As we go through today, we'll be stepping out, I guess, the whole assignment process for today, and also the reasons why I want you to get this and I want you to do this, okay? So that's how we'll roll with the actual little challenge tasks. And I'll be doing these live videos each morning, every day this week. So 9:30 this morning. Tomorrow morning, it's actually going to be 9 a.m. just purely because I do another coaching call at 10:30. So I just want to be really conscious that I'm not running over time, so that I'm not sort of rushing through the content that I'm delivering here, because day 2 is all about overcoming self-sabotage. So I really want to make sure that we've got enough time and enough space to be able to really, really go deep with that. So it's really great to see so many of you joined up, and it's really great to see, like I said, a lot of you committing, a lot of you are in lockdown, a lot of you are homeschooling. So I really just want to take the time to just acknowledge how great that is that you're actually taking this little bit of time out for yourself to really look at how you can make sure that you're getting what you need during this time as well. So, so really the live trainings are like the application of the assignments or the challenge tasks, and it's really just to get you to think about, you know, your journey, your health, and what that really means to you. So if you haven't received the assignment task yet, just have a look perhaps in your junk folder or your spam folder. Sometimes it can go through to there. But if you do have any problems or issues with getting that or finding that, just shoot me through an email, admin@edwinapettiford.com, or just send me through a message on Facebook, and I'm happy to help you out with that. So So if you haven't got that yet, don't stress, we can get it to you. And I just want you to also know that there are some awesome prizes this week. I always love to really just acknowledge and recognize those ladies who are really committed to taking action, because that's what this week is all about, is taking action. So the ladies that are the most engaged, the ladies who are really giving it their all, I really just want to encourage you to continue to do that, because there will be some really great prizes to be shared at the end of the 5 days. So, and also just wanting to let you know about sharing your learning, sharing your challenges, sharing your progress, just really sharing throughout this challenge. I really just encourage you just to do that with other ladies within this group. It's a very niche group of ladies, all in very, very similar situations. So it's very, very safe. It's a beautiful, safe environment for you to be able to share. And one thing I always say is, when you learn something, the best way to really I guess, take in and really resonate with that learning and have it stick is to teach somebody else, or to share that learning with other people. So I really feel like if you can learn it and take it in, but then articulate it or speak it or even write it to somebody else in the Facebook group or to your family or a friend or something like that, it really just helps to cement what you're learning into place. So I really just encourage you to share, but just show up, have fun, use this as a really light, fun process. We don't want to get you, you know, too bogged down. We don't want you to feel like this is a really serious process. Like, it should be about fun and learning. And again, like I said, taking action and really just building that momentum for your journey, whatever that looks like for you. So yeah, really just making sure that you get the most out of this week. And I really just want to talk to you about the best way to do that. And I always like to say to ladies, when you come into something like this, come in with like an empty container or an empty cup. Okay, so what I mean by that is, oftentimes we can come into something like this or a challenge like this with this views of like, you know, or this lens or this perspective of like, I already know that, or I've already done that, or I don't really need to do that, right? So you know, you might think, oh, okay, well, I've heard that before, or I've listened to a podcast, or someone else has told me that. I really just want you to just think about it as, you know, if your cup is full, you can't take on any more liquid, right? So it's like, if it's full and you kind of come into it with an idea of, you know, I know that, or I don't need to do that, I can kind of skip that process. It's very hard to pour more in. So it's hard for me to fill you up if your cup is already full, all right? So I want you to come in with a completely empty cup, and really just make sure that you come into this challenge with a lot of open-mindedness, okay? Because a lot of the things that I am going to teach you and show you throughout these 5 days together is going to be very counterintuitive. A lot of what I teach is counterintuitive, right? But I always look at those things of, you know, if you've heard it before, or you think that, you know, you've done it before, you don't need to, I just want you to kind of come with a clean slate, empty that cup out, and really just know that if you allow me to, I can just fill you up so much more if you come with that open mind, okay? So it's really just about that, okay? And also it's about, you know, what you can apply to your journey, okay? So I always look at things in terms of, you know, when you change the way that you look at things, you know, it's really a different perspective. So if you think about, you know, how you can change, it's really about, you know, thinking differently and able to, for you to be able to get a different result, okay? So it's really a lot around this week, changing the way you think about certain things, okay? Maybe just shifting your perspective. And that's why I really just encourage you to share, is because sometimes these new learnings can take a little bit of, adjusting to or resonating with. So if you can share that and ask questions and really, you know, talk to the other ladies within this challenge, and that's really going to help you as well. All right, so is everybody with me? Let me just do a quick check-in on Facebook. Beautiful. Hey, Tabitha. Hey, Sanella, great to have you here. I'm loving seeing everybody here. Everyone's commenting, which is fantastic. Oh, Rosalind's here as well. Hey, Ros. All right, so I think everyone's with me. I think everyone is able to see me and hear me, which is fantastic. I'm hoping that I'm not just talking to myself, so I just always like to make sure that that's not the case, which is great. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just open up my slides, because I do have some slides to share with you, because I always think that it's great to be able to obviously watch me, listen to me, but sometimes when you can like see it in writing as well, some people have such different learning styles. Visually is really great as well. So just give me one little moment. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to make sure that we can see that as well. So let me just pop over here onto Facebook. And I'm also going to just make sure that that's popping up, because again, I don't want to be streaming it and it's like the wrong screen or something like that. So let me just quickly jump on here. I'll have a quick look in the Facebook group. I'm really just conscious of making sure that we are in the right spot. Stronger You Challenge. All right, let me just close down that for a minute. All righty. So this is going to be great. So I've been working with these slides to get them all done up for you. Where are we? Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you, Tabitha. That's great. Hey, Kerry, I'll just say hi to the other ladies that are jumping in. It's so great to have you here. So that's awesome. So you can see my slides. We are cooking with gas. This is awesome. All right, so this is it, the 5 days to a Stronger You challenge. And I say stronger because to me, stronger means so much more than just physical, right? It's strength in mind, it's strength in spirit, it's strength in confidence. Physical strength is great too, right? So it's really just about becoming that strong version of you, whatever that looks like for you, okay? All right, so day number 1. Now, I just want to share this with you. I don't know why that little picture isn't coming up, but anyway, you can see one of those photos there, because I just wanted to do a quick intro of me, because a lot of you may have been following me for some time. Some of you don't know me at all. Some of you are like, this is the first time I've ever seen you. So, but again, I want you to just really understand where I'm coming from when I'm teaching you through this 5 days, okay? Because I just don't want to come across as like some random, you know, lady that you've just seen on the internet who's just kind of sprouting all these things that you're not really sure of, because I just want you to understand that I'm coming from this background of understanding exactly where a lot of you are at, because I've had my own journey. And I've also come through the other side of that. And I really just, you know, I guess this is why I'm so passionate about helping so many women. Like I've, you know, coached hundreds of women over the years, really just to allow their journey to take place, just, you know, like mine did. So I really just like to share that with you. So if you have heard my story before, or you know me and you're like, Ed, I know all these, just stick with me again. Remember that empty cup analogy, because, you know, you might pick up something that you may not have seen before either. I don't know whether you can see this picture, but that's actually me, like with a picture of some fags and a cocktail. So really, you know, my story started, you know, back in my younger years, and I share these pictures because I think a lot of the times, sometimes we can look at other women or other people and kind of make judgments about where they are on their journey and just assume like, you know, I've always been healthy and I've always been, you know, prioritizing looking after myself, and I've never struggled with my weight. Not the case. A lot of you, I've had my ups and downs. You know, I've been throughout the years, and I've had children, and you know, my body's gone through a lot of changes. You know, I've had, you know, pregnancies, you know, post-pregnancies, breastfeeding, all that stuff that comes with being a mum, you know, and I've lost the weight. My weight's been up and down. I've lost the weight in some not so healthy ways, some really actually dangerous ways. And I've had some really unhealthy habits as well. Smoking, I smoked for, oh gosh, I don't know how many years. Lots of drinking, you know, in my younger days. That's me and my husband back in, I think I was, you know, 17 when I met my husband. So, you know, we were doing a lot of drinking and smoking, and not that he ever smoked, but, you know, I had a lot of unhealthy habits, you know, McDonald's and KFC, and, you know, didn't really know what healthy looked like, right? So lots of binge eating in between, you know, not being happy with where I was, and, you know, wanting to lose weight, but not really knowing the right way. So I've been through the journey as well. Okay. So, you know, can you ladies see those pictures? This one is like a blank screen. So I just want to make sure that you are able to see that. So if you could just let me know in the chat box, can you just let me know, can you see the slides in there? Let me just see. Streaming it, and it's not the wrong screen coming up. No, I can't actually see that. So what I'm going to do, oh, there we go. I just had to click it again. All right. Can you see that? That looks good. All right. So I'm just going to go back. No, we can't see that one. Let me just go back here. All right. So I don't know why you can't see that when I present it. Maybe it's just my internet connection may not be that great, but let me just try that again. No, that's okay. Let me just exit out. And I'm just going to show you this picture for a moment. So that's where we're up to. Okay. So this is basically me in 2016. Okay. So I went through, this journey of all this, unhealthy habits. And in 2016, I was able to actually go to America and compete in a bodybuilding competition. So that was a great experience. Like, I won that competition, like it was amazing. And, don't get me wrong, like, things like going to the gym, eating the foods, doing that sort of thing, it wasn't a problem for me. I was going to the gym, 6 or 7 days a week, twice a day. And, it became quite, time consuming, and really, like, I guess I had this unhealthy idea of what, being lean and looking a certain way looked like in terms of what you had to do, right? So, yes, I could, I managed to lose the weight. I managed to, to get to look like this, but it wasn't in a way that was maintainable or sustainable. Okay. So, I could look in the mirror and go, wow, like, yeah, I'm happy with the way that I looked. But, I was eating such low calories, really low calories, doing all of this exercise. My moods were up and down, like the hormonal, imbalances was crazy because, I had all of this, I guess, unhealthy idea or attachment to how you actually got to look like that, right? So, I mean, bodybuilding is something that I absolutely love to do and I think is great, but for me, it created a lot of unhealthy habits, right? So in terms of like binge eating, like, you cut sugar, you cut your carbs, and then you just craved and craved and craved. So it just created this whole process of binge eating. And, I just had no clue how to fuel my body properly. I just knew how to like eat less food and train more. And that was like my strategy of, getting to that point, right? So, and I got to, to wonder, like, surely there has to be a better way, right? Surely, like, I can get to the place where I love the way that I look and I'm really happy with what I see in the mirror, but it doesn't mean that I have to spend hours training every single day or eating really low calories or, doing all the dieting and cutting the carbs and the sugar and not having a social life at all, right? So it's like, you can't go out to social events or barbecues because, you just can't eat the food, right? So I just started to realize that, this is something that just wasn't a lifestyle for me, right? So, I tell my clients this all the time, in our program, and it's like, what got you here won't get you there, right? So what I was doing, what got me to there wasn't going to be what was going to work for me long term. So I really realized that, what I was doing up to that point, it obviously brought me to that reality of, winning that competition and doing all of that. But if I wanted something different, I had to do something new. And I did, right? So I kind of had this aha moment because, like a lot of you who have like lost weight in the past, I kept sort of at one point telling myself like, you'll be good this week. You come to Monday and it's like, right, you put the foot down. It's like, no treats, no sweets, no binging on carbs. And, you're going to be really, really good. You're going to eat clean, you're going to do all the right things. And that lasts for, 3 or 4 days if you're lucky. And then, come Wednesday or Thursday, it's kind of all out the window, right? Because a lot of the times I was hangry, I was just obsessing about food because I was hungry all the time. Couldn't go out with my friends for like coffee dates or for dinner or whatever. And it was actually when my mum came to visit me up in Queensland one weekend, and I just remember thinking to myself, we were going to go out for dinner, and I was like, no, I can't go out for dinner because I've got to eat my chicken and my 100 grams of chicken and my 150 grams of sweet potato. And I just remember thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm sacrificing my life for looking a certain way, right? And I just would go through this, this whole cycle of like, going to be good and then, not being able to enjoy the weekend. And it's like that whole restart Monday mentality kind of was just like this way that I saw myself as like a failure because I could never really stick to anything. And I just decided that, I wasn't going to just eat clean and I wasn't going to just follow someone else's diet because that's what I was given, right? Like someone said to me, you've got to eat this, amount of chicken and this amount of sweet potato and this amount of almonds. And I didn't even like those foods anyway. And it was like, I just had to follow what everyone else was kind of telling me, like a coach or a, fitness guru on Instagram or whatever it was. So, I didn't want to follow anyone else's rules anymore. I kind of just wanted to throw everything to the wind because I just realized that wasn't actually for me. Like that didn't suit me. That wasn't built for me at all. And, it wasn't customized or unique to me a lot of the time. So, so what I really learned to do was just how to build a customized plan for myself. And when I did that and when I learned how to do that properly, like everything changed, like completely shifted. So, let me just see if I can share this again with a little bit of better success. Present this just so you can see, because that other next photo was showing up properly. Let's click through here. Okay, so this is me. This was taken last week when I was kind of like promoting the 5-day challenge, right? So this is like me maintaining my body like this so easily, right? So, you know, I'm able to finally see my six pack. And you might think like, wow, those photos are quite, you know, the same. They don't look much different apart from like the hideous tan that I had when I was on stage. But now, like, rather than training 6 or 7 days a week, I train 2 or 3. I'm not on a diet. You know, I still go out for dinner. I still, you know, we went for a 21st party on the weekend. We had beautiful food and I really just enjoyed it. I eat lots of calories in the day. We eat HelloFresh a couple of times a week. You know, I have dessert every single night. That's like a non-negotiable to me. And like I said, we can just enjoy, you know, that social aspect. And I just have so much more freedom and control around my food. And then obviously the time now that I save not having to go to the gym so much. But I really just stumbled onto this reality and this truth that, you know, and I really do like to teach my clients this all the time, is you can't follow someone else's rules, right? Like, it's like trying to fit, you know, a square peg into a round hole. Like, it's not just going to fit. And I think a lot of the times we try to do that. You know, we get frustrated when they don't fit, but it's actually not made for you, right? That round hole and you're a square peg, it's actually just not meant to be, right? So I really just had this realization, and it's just such a missing piece for women. And it's really just why I've created my program, the Fit Vibe Strength Movement program, to be able to help and coach women, to just help them to figure out like what their fitness journey looks like, and to be able to reach their goals, but, you know, in a way that matches them, in a way that matches their lifestyle and what they want to do, right? You know, because again, it's one way to kind of reach your goals, but if you're not actually enjoying what you're doing, I just feel like that's actually really pointless. So that's really what we're going to look at today. Okay, so okay, I'm just going to just exit out here because I don't know. I think it's because my internet might be a little bit slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down this way so that we can see here. And again, like I said, everybody has got different goals. So just give me a chat box. There we go. No pictures. Just let me know if you can actually see the pictures now that I'm scrolling that way. I'm hoping that you can see it a little bit better. I'm pretty sure that should be okay. I think it's just maybe my internet's a little bit dodgy, but we'll deal with it. All these tech little glitches that we have, but we always find a way around it. So we're all good. All right, so different goals. And that's what I was sort of saying before, like everyone's going to have different goals. Like some of you might be wanting to lose weight. Some of you might be wanting to get leaner, build muscle, like whatever it is. Some of you might have strength goals. You know, I've had a lot of different goals over the years. You know, one was being like really, really skinny. And I realized that that was not, you know, ideal for me. Like what I thought being skinny was going to mean to me wasn't actually what reality was, right? So, you know, I really, you know, have had so many different goals over the years, and a lot of you will have different goals as well. Okay. So I'm just going to stop sharing that for a minute, just so that I can take that off there, and let me just have a quick look. Yep, Eric can see it. Beautiful. Love it. Excellent. So I think we're good. So I might just have to share it in that little bit of a different way, but that's okay. We will deal with that. So really in this challenge, I really just want to encourage you just to take action. Like that is the goal, right? And I think the mistake that a lot of women can fall into is, you know, to think that they have to stay in the learning stages, right? So they think that in order to get results, like they have to like learn more or know more or have more knowledge. And they really think that they're like missing something. It's like this, you know, secret out there that they're missing. But, you know, you just, I guess, have to know that learning something doesn't produce results, right? You have to take action on it. Like that's number one. So for the ladies who have done their day one action task or their assignment so far, like that's great. And even the fact that you're here and you're listening and you're commenting and you're engaged in this already, like says to me that you have taken action, which is awesome, because, you know, a lot of women will join this challenge and perhaps not even make it here to day one. So I really just want to encourage you and acknowledge that, and just encourage you to continue. So, you know, nothing on those ladies who aren't here, but, you know, that's, I guess, you know, everyone has their own journey, but I'm really excited that you have decided to do that. So, Now, before we do get a little bit more into today, like I just want to kind of address, you know, the elephant in the room in terms of, you know, our challenge and how we're running it and why we're running it. And I guess, you know, some of you perhaps have maybe done these challenges before and you've kind of been a little bit burnt and you've done them and you're like, well, I didn't really get a lot of value, but, you know, now I just have to kind of sign up for the paid, you know, program or whatever it is afterwards to get all the value. I get that. And I get that that possibly has been the case for you. And you're probably wondering if this is like the same way, but I really, you know, want to let you know, like, yes, there is no secret that I will be inviting you, you know, if this is something that you feel like resonates with you at the end of the week, to come join in my coaching program. Like, that is no secret at all. And I just want to put that out there. I'll be opening that up for you next week to be able to go through and look at that. But I really just want to let you know that my commitment this week is to you. Like, I really just want to make sure that you are getting value and you are really able to just kickstart your journey, have some aha moments and some really great takeaways and action steps from this week. And I know some of you in this challenge are in my coaching program, which is great. I love it how you're taking this action as well, just to have that little bit of refocus, which is really awesome. But I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the most epic value and the most epic learning and content that I can. Okay, so that's really my promise, is just to deliver for you this week. And then if that's something that you really want to look at in terms of building that momentum and then carrying that momentum on with some coaching, then I just wanted to let you know up front, like that's kind of how we roll. All right, so I also want to now just share my screen again. Let me just go back in here. I wonder if I can do this a different way. Just give me 2 seconds. I have a feeling I might be able to make this work somewhere else, perhaps. Or maybe not. You know what, that's going to take a little while to download, but if everyone can see that, if everyone's happy, then I'm happy to just share it like that, because you obviously are, oh, hang on, sorry, just a minute. No, that's not what I wanted. You can obviously get the gist of what I'm going through. So let's share this screen again. Now, I really just want to cover this because I think this is really, really important. I really just want to walk through this graphic, right? So if you think about, you know, how many times in your journey, you know, you've seen someone perhaps on Instagram, or maybe it's like a friend that you've seen on Facebook, or a friend that you know personally, or like a sister, or, you know, someone that you know, and you've gone like, wow, like she looks really great. Like, what is she doing? What's your secret? Like, what are you eating? Tell me what, you know, what you're eating in the day. Tell me what workouts you're following. And then we see it and we look at it and we try and copy it and we try and follow that. And we do the exact same thing, and we're doing, you know, the same workouts, we're eating the same food, and we get frustrated when we don't get the same results. Like, who can really relate to that? Like, they've done that before. Or maybe you do get results, but you're not able to maintain them or sustain those results. Because, you know, if you've seen someone, a diet, a workout plan that's worked for, you know, a friend or an influencer, or, you know, a sister, or, you know, a relative or something like that, it's often the time if you're not going to have the same results. And the reason is over here, right? So we see this like iceberg, and we see up here the tip, right? We see the specific diet that they're following, or we see the workout that they're following, whatever that might be. And that's kind of all we see, right? And that's you know, what we try and copy. We try to copy the diet, copy the workout, and we don't get the same results. And then we wonder why. And the reason is because we do not see all of this other stuff down here. We don't see her relationship with food. We don't see what she does in her free time. We don't see what her mindset is like, her self-control, her relationship with food, which often a lot of the time comes back to self-control, how she speaks to herself, her metabolism, her muscle mass, her history of dieting, her decision-making, self-trust, all these things, right? We often don't actually see those things. So if I, you know, was just giving you a meal plan and a workout plan, and, you know, you're like, well, why hasn't it worked by now? You know, the reason is, you know, you're trying to copy it. Like, if it's something that you're taking from your friend or a sister or a relative, and you're like, why isn't it working? It's because we're not taking into account all of those other things. So I guess it's really just me showing you this so that you can really understand how you can create your own. It isn't about, you know, copying or doing what somebody else is doing. It's really not just also about me handing you a meal plan and saying, like, you just have to follow this. And a lot of you probably have come into this challenge going, oh, great, you know, I'm going to be given a meal plan, and we're just going to go away and we're going to cook this food, and it's going to give me like a workout plan, and we're just going to all go and follow it together. but that's actually not what we're going to do this week. And if that's the case of what you were thinking, like that, you know, it might be a little bit disappointing, but I can promise you in the long run, this is going to be so much more beneficial than me just giving you that, right? Because that's not actually teaching you anything at all. But, you know, what I am going to do is, you know, get you to think about things in a different way. And a lot of the times what we think we need and what we actually need are really two different things, right? So I'm not going to give you the meal plan because, like I said, it doesn't work. Like in our coaching program, I do give you lots of meal plans to get you started. And it's really just that, just to get you started. Like we give you some really tasty basic meal plans, but very quickly we transition away from that, right? Because, you know, I want to teach you how to create your own plans, because again, over here, everyone is just so different, right? Everyone is so unique in terms of all of these factors that we really need to consider those. So, and again, I'm not going to give you a specific workout because, you know, that's not going to work. So it's really just about, you know, if those things were going to work, they would have worked by now, right? So what I am going to do is really help you to uncover how to get unstuck. Okay, all of those things that have been keeping you stuck. And for a lot of you, it's going to be a lot of this stuff, the mindset, the self-control, your relationship with food, how you speak to yourself. That's a lot of the time what we need to address at a deeper level rather than just these tip of the icebergs. Okay, so who can really relate to that? Let me just know in the chat box if you can relate to that. I kind of have a little bit of a delay here, but I think Melissa, that's awesome that you can see that. So I just really wanted to share with you, because a lot of the times we do have that idea that, you know, it's just like a one size fit all type thing. Okay. So I'm not going to show you how to, you know, give you the plan. I'm going to show you how to customize that plan for you. Okay. To find something that's going to be effective for you, not only for your goal, but for your lifestyle, because, you know, you've got a unique body, a unique history, you know, a diet history, your metabolism is very unique. So we really need to factor that in. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. The challenge is giving you those foundational pieces, okay, to really just build upon and move you towards the goals that you set for yourself, okay, in a way that's enjoyable, right? That's the one thing I want to make known is you do not have to be miserable, okay? This is not a process where it's like, I've got to, you know, sacrifice my happiness and my life and, you know, everything that I'm doing for this. That's not the case. So I want you to completely like rule that one out as well, okay? So we really just want to get, you know, for you to realize at a deeper level, okay? So now, a lot of you will kind of know that I am sort of the coach that, you know, does teach, you know, macro tracking, and, you know, we do look at that type of thing, you know, when we go through our program. But I just want to be really, really clear as well, like this isn't like a macro tracking challenge, you know, or a workout challenge, but, you know, yes, we will talk about that in day 3 when we go through all of that information. So it doesn't really matter if you don't know what macros are, or, you know, you're kind of really clueless with that, like that's okay. I'll explain that to you. But I just really want to set you up in terms of, you know, just for you to understand that, you know, macro tracking, the way that it is, it's like a tool, right? You know, it's like, I guess, you know, whether you had like a hammer or a spanner or something like that, it's like, it's the hammer has, you know, zero ability to do anything, right? It's just a tool. Like if you don't pick it up, it just sits there, right? So it's like a knife, you know, or a car or any other tool. Like it has no ability to actually do anything, but it's only as powerful as a person that picks it up, right? So, you know, if you see a knife on the table, you could use it to, you know, cut your vegetables, or you could use it to stab somebody, right? So it's very different the way that it works from the person that's actually utilizing or using that tool. So it's a bit like my son that's learning to drive a car. He's 16, right? So if I didn't teach him the tools of how to drive that car, that would be very irresponsible of me, right? So again, the car's just a tool, but it just comes down to how people actually use that tool. So we don't want him to crash, so we teach him how to use it. And I guess, you know, a lot of the times, you know, it would be like really irresponsible of me to try and say, you know, you have to do macro tracking or something like that to get results without setting you up for long-term results with that, or long-term success with that. So, you know, a lot of the times women will look at nutrition and, you know, they think, you know, they'll start to track macros or count macros or whatever you want to call it, right? And they get frustrated and they quit. You know, they might not see results, or they think it's too hard, or they tell me it doesn't work. But they were just given this tool without actually being taught how to handle the tool. Okay, so and they end up turning, I think this is a really big important thing to understand, they end up turning like macro tracking into a diet, okay, which is like the whole problem, okay? And we're really going to talk about that, like I said, in day 3. You know, it's really, you know, you can try all the diets and you can use the tools that you've stumbled across over the past couple of years, but you know, it's really about understanding that, you know, you have to be taught how to use the tool properly. So again, our focus is going to be on you during this week, shifting your perspective and really just looking at how you approach your fitness goals, and also asking better questions in your journey as well. That way, you know, when you start to use this tool of like macro tracking, and also, you know, when it comes to your training and your workouts as well, you're going to do it in a way that's productive and in a way that's actually effective, right? Because it'd be like someone saying like, oh yeah, I just heard my friend, you know, she's tracking her macros. And then you try and set it up and you try and use MyFitnessPal and you just set yourself these calories that you don't even know how to do, or you don't even know where those numbers come from. Of course, you're not going to see results, right? So that's what we're really going to focus on, okay? So yes, Tabitha, we do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We use MyFitnessPal. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let me just share this again, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of what our days are going to look like. Oh man, my poor old slides are not having a very good day today. Let me just refresh the screen. Let's see if we can get this cracking. There we go. I'm going to quickly try one more time just to present and see what comes up. Yes, here we go. All right. Let me get this opened again because I think we might be good to go. Screen. Beautiful. All right, so can everyone see that again? It looks nice and big now. Cool. So everyone would have seen this in the intro pack that I gave you. So the week ahead, giving you a really quick rundown. Okay, so I just want to go through this really quickly. So today, what the action task is, or the assignment that I want you to do, is get really clear on your reality. Okay, so we're looking at your current reality, like where you are now, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what's happening for you, and then also where you want to get to. We're going to look at that goal, or what I like to call your desired reality, right? And that's really what we're going to do today, is really focus on the actions and decisions that you've made in the past, right, that have brought you to this point, okay? Because, you know, if you go through the activity that I gave you today and really, you know, put pen to paper, or, you know, fingers to keyboard, or whatever it is, it's really, you know, you're not going to be, you know, your, I guess, history of what you've done, your goals, it's not going to be the same as everyone else, right? So it's really about going through that personally and really looking at that. So first of all, that's really important, looking at, you know, deciding your reality. Day 2, we're really going to look at, you know, any of those roadblocks that come up, okay? Because as you go through this fitness journey, these roadblocks will and do come up, okay? And it would be silly to think that they're not going to come up and the self-sabotage won't happen, because I can guarantee you it will. And that's predominantly the big reason why most of you probably on here and most women do stay stuck. So, you know, a lot of you will probably get the most benefit out of day 2. So I really do hope that you come back and stick around for that. But I'm also going to give you some really practical tools, okay, to fight it, to fight that self-sabotage and really overcome that, okay, and defeat any of that self-sabotage you may have had in the past. Day 3 is all about busting the myths, okay? All about nutrition, you know, how, you know, those myths that you perhaps believe are keeping you stuck. And, you know, you're thinking that, you know, perhaps you lack self-discipline around food and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of the times why women don't see results is because they're approaching, you know, their nutrition like a dieter, rather than like, you know, a scientist or someone who just, you know, does an experiment and gets, you know, results and really just applies those results. So that's going to be day 3. Day 4 will be the common mistakes that you make when it comes to exercise. And this is a really awesome one. I did some of this training inside of our coaching program a few weeks ago, and it was epic. The ladies loved it. It just gave them some really great insight into training. And it's really just about sharing those common mistakes. And then in day 5, we're really going to help you to wrap up and get some really clear direction on the next steps of how you can continue this momentum, okay, and how you can create like a 5-step recipe for success, okay? So let me know in the chat box, which are you most excited about? Which day are you really looking forward to? And which one are you really thinking that you're going to get the most benefit from? So if you let me know in there, so I can sort of see what you're really wanting to get the most out of. All right, so I want to just ask you this: how many times have you gotten excited, started something, and then not finished? A lot of the times, I would say. That's a lot of the time how I used to be. You know, you've been in the position where you're all amped up to ready, you know, to start on Monday, and then, you know, you have this pattern of like you stop, and then, you know, you feel like a failure, right? So I don't want this to be the same pattern, okay? So I don't want you to get to the weekend and like your motivation's all fizzled out and you've quit, okay? And a lot of the times, you know, consider this. Like, I want you to ask yourself this question: are you using the past to dictate and predict the future? Okay, so if you're like me, you've had the experience of being really excited, like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, get on a diet on a Monday and, you know, get to the weekend, and then by the weekend you're just like eating, you know, pizzas and smashing, you know, all the chocolate in the fridge, right? So so if that's, you know, something that you do as well, it's definitely something that I have done in the past. So it's kind of like, you know, part of you wants to succeed, but it's really just about understanding that, you know, we're not going to use the past to dictate and predict the future this week, right? And into the rest of your journey as well, okay? So it's not about that at all, okay? It's not about that at all. So one thing I do want to say too is I really want you to look at your language that you use this week. You know, if you're using the word try, like, oh, I'm going to try and get this done, or I'm going to try to make this happen, or I'm going to try to, you know, to do it, I want you to just wipe that out, and I want you to start using the word committed, right? Because if you say that you're going to try, it kind of gives you an out, right? So if you start something predicting to fail, you only increase the likelihood of that outcome actually happening. So, so why do we actually do it? Like, not just this week that I'm talking about, but in our fitness journey. Like, why do we only half commit to something? Like, we go, yeah, we'll try to do that, but we're not actually fully committed. And it's not just something that, you know, is on you that you do. I think it's just innately, you know, it's like human nature. That's sometimes what we do. But why do we only half commit to something? Like I said before, it gives us an out, right? Because if we fail, it's because we didn't do everything, okay? Rather than meaning something worse, like I'm actually, you know, a failure. It means, oh, well, I didn't really try my hardest, so it's not, you know, it's not me. It was just the fact that I didn't go all in, okay? So it gives us an out, and it really just, you know, saves us from saying, oh, well, you know, I can't be successful. And that's really why we do it, because, you know, we sort of say, yeah, well, I didn't really try. You know, so I really just want you to be really aware of that, okay? And so because of that, we start things out by somewhat predicting to fail, okay? So how many of you had rocked up to this week going, I'll try and get the 5 days done, I may not, you know, I'm going to sort of go half in, be half committed, and we kind of predict our future based on what we've done in the past. And it's because we want to just protect ourselves from failure, which again, I get is, you know, it's human nature, right? We don't want to fail. We want to protect ourselves from failure. So, you know, by saying I'm going to try, whether it's just this week or it's, you know, out into the next week, month, you know, year in your fitness journey, if you predict the future based on, you know, you're trying and half commitment before, you're just going to keep shrugging it off and go, well, you know, I didn't really try that hard, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I want you to this week and today just make that commitment to not try, but actually decide and commit that this is something that you're going to go all in on. All right. So, you know, if you've got a friend, and I was talking to a person at Telstra the other day, and this is really interesting, and she kept saying to me, I'm going to try and call you back. And I'm like, to me, when you say like, you're going to try to call me back, like that tells me that you're not going to call me back at all, right? If you were going to call me back, you'd be like, I'm going to call you back, right? Same as like if you've got a friend that you're going to like meet for coffee, she says like, oh, I'm going to try and be there at 10:30. Like, it doesn't really give you much confidence that she's going to turn up on time, right? Whereas if you've got a friend that says, I'm going to meet you at 10:30, I'm going to be there and I'll see you there, right? You've kind of got confidence in that. So I want you to just wipe that whole I try out of the vocab, and really just look at going, I'm going to commit to this, okay? Because I am a woman who does reach my goals and I am committed, okay? So yeah, so because of that, we start things out by predicting out to fail, and then that manifests as the outcome, okay? So that is the outcome that we get. So I don't care how many times you've done that in the past and go, I'm going to go start again on Monday, like that, to me, like that does not matter one little bit. I don't care how many times you've fizzled out, you know, by Friday. That doesn't matter at all, okay? Just wipe that completely out of your mind, because we don't want to keep recreating the past, okay? And this is really, really powerful, because like I said, we do not want to recreate the past. We want to create a new reality, a new future, a new set of goals, a new set of standards as well. Okay. So that's really day one. Okay, so it's really about not trying to succeed. It's not about, you know, thinking about succeeding and kind of hoping for it. It's about actually making that decision that you are going to turn up for yourself, you are going to commit, and you are just going to make that decision. Okay, so yeah, if you're already made up that decision, like, I want you to just let me know in the chat box. Like, if you are what are you seeing there? Sorry, day two. Oh, sorry, day two. Yeah, that was before. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind. So day two, yeah, day two is going to be great. So I'm hoping you all turn up tomorrow for day two. It'll be fantastic. So I'm really, really excited for that. But yeah, I just want you to type in the chat box committed. Like, if you're committed, rather than saying I'm going to try this week, then I really, really want you to just verbalize that and really stamp that into existence. Okay. Yeah, decide your reality and succeed. That's what it's about, right? So we really look at that. It's really going to help you to just cement that, you know, chance and that possibility that you are going to get to your goals. Okay. So I am committed. That can be your mantra, your affirmation for this week. Okay. Now we need to just quickly define success. And I'm going to quickly just go over this really, really quickly, because, you know, your success is inevitable if you do commit. I will tell you that. But it doesn't matter if you believe that. Sorry, if I believe that, you have to believe that. Okay, it only matters if you absolutely believe that yourself. But for now, like, I can believe it for you until you have that belief in yourself. But I totally get and 100% believe that you're all success is all inevitable. All right. Let me just stop my sharing for a minute. All right, sorry, ladies, I'm just having a little choke and a coughing break. Just need to catch a little drink of water. So yeah, all committed. I love it. You've all got this. Absolutely beautiful, Karen. I love it. All right, so your success is inevitable, okay? And success can be, sometimes I think we set ourselves up with these big goals of, like, we have to have this big thing happen to be successful, right? Not the case, especially this week, and especially again into your journey, right? Sorry, I get excited and then I start coughing. So success doesn't mean like you have to do everything in this challenge. You have to be like up to date every day, do all the tasks like before we do our videos. Like, that's not the case, okay? Redefining success this week is taking more action this week, right, and every day than what you would have done if you weren't doing this challenge, okay? That's how I want you to define success this week, but also in your journey, right? So if you were to say, like, next week I'm going to go and, you know, look at improving my health, don't think about it as you have to do like all these big things, right? It could be just one small thing that's improving that you possibly wouldn't have done, you know, if you didn't have that idea, okay? And just really see that, you know, your success and your definition of success doesn't have to be about doing it all, okay? It doesn't have to be like keeping it up to date. It doesn't have to be about overwhelm and feeling really stressed out about it. But I just want you to just kind of, I guess, find your definition of success and really just commit to that, okay? So again, if you do commit, your success is absolutely going to be like a no-brainer. It has to happen and it will happen, okay? Yeah, so that's one thing that I really just wanted to just, I guess, explain to you. Like, everyone's definition of success is going to be different as well. All right. So what got you here? Let me just share my screen again. Back to my notes. I really just want you to take this in again is, you know, what got you here won't get you there, right? So your current reality now, where you're sitting and where you're at, what you've been doing up until now is not going to get you to where you want to be. Okay, so I really just want you to acknowledge that. And we're really going to look at, you know, your body as an experiment. Okay. So as an experiment, I don't know, you know, high school chemistry like wasn't really my thing. I'm kind of having to go back over it now. My son's like in grade 11, and you know, it's not the, you know, the easiest thing for me. But you know, with every experiment, there's variables, right? So there are inputs and there are variables. Okay, so I want you to think about it like in this case, like the actions and decisions in your journey that you put in are all going to come down here that, you know, get to these results down here. Okay. And up until now, you know, your experiment has been, you know, one set of actions, decisions, and inputs getting you the results that you've gotten. Okay. You know, so maybe over the years, you've tried things like, you know, clean eating, you know, you've started to see some results, maybe then you start binge eating because of, you know, the cutting the carbs or the sugar or whatever it might be. That was me, right? Not being able to like resist the sugar cravings. Or maybe like you followed like a keto diet, you know, you've cut your carbs completely and it's like, you know, your progress slows, and it's like, well, how do you then be better at keto? Like, how can you cut more carbs, right? So it's like, it's really difficult to kind of, to really, I guess, look at those actions and decisions, you know, if things aren't changing, okay? And then sometimes when you go through this, like, and I really want you to understand this, they really struggle to understand that, you know, to get momentum in their fitness journey, they recognize they need to change something, and they struggle to know what they should be changing or who they should be listening to. And this is so important because, you know, they don't really know what steps they need to take, and they wonder if like that's that thing that they're going to go do is like a waste of time. But, you know, most importantly, this is what this is all about. Okay. The truth is, the steps, we want to look at what you need to do. Because, you know, again, your results aren't going to be the same as everyone else's. Okay. And I really just want you to understand that viewing other people as experts in your journey leaves your success in the hands of someone else. So if it's like we spoke about before, like that, you know, Instagram influencer that says you have to do this or follow this diet, or it's like your sister that says, you know, this is the way that you should eat, like you're leaving your success in the hands of someone else. And that's not what I want for you. Like, I want your success to be right there in your own hands and in your own power. Okay. Because a lot of the times when we look at experts or other people, they say so many contradictory things that it's really difficult to understand or know what to do, right? So I think probably a lot of you can relate. It's like so confusing that it's like, where do you even start, right? So I believe that a good coach is not a guru. She's actually your guide, okay? She's guiding you with your inputs, your actions, and your decision makings to help you to get those results, okay? So it's really just about understanding, you know, acknowledging the results that you've created in the past have been a result of your actions, your decisions, and what you've done. Okay, so all of those variables or all of those inputs. Okay. So I really just want you to, understand that you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. And that's why I've given you the action task for today, to really look at and acknowledge exactly where you're at in your fitness journey. Okay, taking an assessment, having a bit of an overview. Now, some of you may have answered those questions today from the assignment with some judgment. So just let me know if that's you. Like, have you, you know, when you're filling out, if you haven't done it yet, like that's completely okay. But I know some of you probably have. Just let me know if you have actually sat down and done it and gone, oh wow, like I can't believe, you know, this is how I am, or this is where I'm at, and you know, I'm frustrated with myself that, you know, I've regained the weight, or disappointed that I didn't keep it up, or whatever it is. Like, our brain loves to jump to judgment, right? That's one thing that we're really good at, and one of the things that we're going to talk about, you know, is you know, moving through that, right? When we go into day 3, moving away from that mentality of like a dieter who has a lot of judgments around the things that they do, to becoming more of like a scientist or someone who does the experiment, right? And someone who can really just take those results and really just make adjustments to the inputs or the variables that they're putting in, okay? And that's the difference between having that dieter mentality to having that like scientist mentality, right? So it's like the dieter has a lot of judgment, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame associated with the things that they do. the scientist or the person that experiments has a lot of curiosity. Okay, they're very interested in why, you know, and really, I just want you to understand that it's okay to move away from that judgment. Okay, and that's really important too. So the idea of today's task wasn't to make you feel bad or to judge where you're at. Is just to acknowledge, and you know, like I said, you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. Okay, you've done the best that you can up until this point with the knowledge that you've had, and that's, you know, that's the best that you could have done with that knowledge. So I don't want you to judge yourself. I just want you to understand that you're in exactly the right spot where you need to be. You're in exactly the right place. And you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I truly believe that everyone here today is ready to receive this information, is ready to go through this content, and ready to really just make these changes and have this new knowledge to be able to create those different results. So think about your task today that you've done as finding like your starting point. Okay, so if you were to like just wake up one day and have like no clue where you were, it would be really hard to get to like somewhere you wanted to go, right? So, you know, if you woke up and you were in Brisbane, that would be very different to getting to, say, Sydney than if you woke up like in Hobart or Melbourne, right? So you really have to be clear on what that starting point is. And that's why I really want you to have a look at that today and be really, really specific and clear with that current reality or where that starting point is, because you can't get any further along on your journey if you don't acknowledge the starting point. So who really gets that? Who can really see the value in making sure that you are really, really clear on where that starting point is? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes if that's something that you really can see, you know, that you would be really valuable for you to do. Okay. All right. So hopefully everyone can still hear me. Give me a thumbs up. I'm just going to have a little bit of a moment here just to make sure that everybody is all good. Everyone's keeping up with me. Everyone's still here. Beautiful. Let me just grab a quick drink again so I don't get my dry throat on. Beautiful. I think Michelle's giving me a thumbs up. Perfect. All right. So, and I think it's empowering, you know, when you know that you created your current reality and where you're at by your thoughts and by your actions and, you know, the decisions that you make, it also means that you can change your reality too. You know, you can create new results with new thoughts and new actions and new decision making, right? So it's not just true in your fitness journey, it's true in like every area of life, okay? So I really want you to just look at this, you know, this affirmation. Like, I'm so big on affirmations and really just speaking into existence, but I am an action taker and I will succeed. Like, if that was your belief and that's what you actually resonated, like, and that was your like conviction, like, you could not fail. Like, you know, I will succeed no matter, you know, what that looks like. I might fail a few times, but if I know if I'm an action taker and I'm doing, you know, the actions that I need to take, I will eventually succeed. Okay. I'm not just going to quit when I think the results should be coming quicker, or, you know, I haven't succeeded in a way that I think I should. It's really about just understanding that if I just continue to take action, I will succeed. Okay. And a lot of you, I know, are probably going like, Ed, how do I actually do this? Like, what are the steps to becoming like that scientist rather than the dieter? Like, what action steps do I need to take to create these new results? We will get there, right? So that's what we're going to look at day 3, you know, day 4, day 5, we're going to look at the specific steps. So that's where I really want to make sure that you stay with me. But I really just want you to, again, in this day 1, decide that you are going to create this new reality. Okay, that's why we've called it Decide Your Reality. Okay, so it's really about taking action, showing up for yourself, creating this new version of yourself. Okay. All right, so a lot of you, this is really interesting. I want to share this with you. I did talk a little bit about the starting point, which is what a lot of you would have done, but I really just want to make this this known for you, okay? Because unsuccessful women are unsuccessful, not because they don't make progress, but because they don't recognize the progress that they're making, okay? Who can really resonate with that? Unsuccessful women are unsuccessful, but not because they're not making progress, but because they don't recognize that they're making progress. Like, they don't see it. They think, oh, you know, I've been doing this like 2 weeks. I should have had results by now. And they don't see the results, or the results that they think they should have seen. So they quit, right? They quit prematurely. Okay. So who can really see that? Like, it's recognizing your results. sitting with the fact that, you know, I've actually made progress. That might not have been like a drop in the scale, but how else have I seen progress? How else have I seen results? So I really want you to just understand that, okay? That's really important as well. So this is the second half of your worksheet for today, okay? So your new reality, so declaring your goal, okay? So up the top of that, this is just the bottom half. We're just really looking at where you've been up until this point and where it is that you want to go, okay? And I really just want to very, very quickly go through this with you because I know that we're nearly on the hour, so I don't want to sort of go over time too much. You'll get to know that I just love to talk, so I don't want to keep you too long, but I really just want you to understand, you know, you really have to be really clear and really specific, okay, with what it is that you want to achieve. Because a lot of the times we aren't specific, right? If you just said, I wanted to go to Queensland, if you're in Melbourne, that's a very big place to end up in, right? Like you could end up in Outback Queensland, or you could end up in the Whitsundays visiting me. Like that's a very, very vague like destination, right? So we want to get really, really clear on how you set your specific goals, okay? So I just want to quickly go through this process, and I want you to just close your eyes for a minute. We are going to do a little bit of work. It is a little bit of a challenge, right? So we're going to do some challenging things, which is exciting. But I just want to go through this little visualization with you, okay? So who's ready to just perhaps close their eyes? Yeah, Tabitha, you can't see the progress that's happening inside. Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Often we do need to see those outside results to feel success. Absolutely, and that's like, you know, why we quit, right? So we don't see what we think we need to see, right? All right, so if you don't want to close your eyes, that's completely cool, but I just really want you to imagine that you went to sleep like one night, okay? Just put your head on the pillow and it's morning and you woke up, you open your eyes, and all of a sudden you look around and then you've realized like this miracle has just happened, okay? This miracle has just like come out of nowhere. All of a sudden you woke up and you've reached your goals, right? You've achieved your goals. And I just want you to ask the question, like, how would you know that that has happened? Like what specifically would be different if you were to just wake up, look around and go, wow, like I've just like waved a magic wand and this is the result. It's here, it's happened, it's been achieved, okay? And what would tell you like, oh my God, like it's actually done, like I finally reached my goal, okay? I just want you to really notice like what would be different. Maybe like you walk past the mirror and you got like a little glimpse of it and you're like, oh wow, hey girl. Or maybe it would be like stepping on the scales and be like, holy crap, like I'm 10 kilos lighter. What would the scale say? Like, how would your clothes fit? What would be different during the day? You know, perhaps you are getting up earlier and going for a walk, or perhaps the kids are coming home from school and you're, you know, walking to the school bus to go pick them up because you can actually, you know, feel fit enough to be able to do that. Maybe you're like outside kicking the ball around with your kids. So I really just want you to have a think about how I know that I've gotten to my goal. Like, how do I know that I've finished my goal? I've gotten there. And just really what is going to make you go, wow, I've accomplished it. I can tick that off the list. It is done. Okay. So you don't have to share this in the chat box if you want to. I'd love you to, like that would be great. But I really just want you to just, I guess, go through that, take a little bit of time just to look at what that would look like. And I know that a lot of you have done that in your day one activity. What specifically would tell you, yep, I've done it. So that's like pinpointing Queensland, right? So rather than saying I'm going from Melbourne to Queensland, that's like going from Melbourne to Airlie Beach, right? So it's like that specific point, okay? So you can just open your eyes. If you can sort of close your eyes and kind of tune into that, that's great. Well, my current clothes would not fit me. They're too big. Awesome. I love it. Yeah. So it's like, wow, I need to like buy some new clothes. That's like, yes, excellent. Beautiful. I think toned, feel properly rested, no brain fog or 3 p.m. slump. Excellent. And how good would that be? Like, imagine just like what that feels like, just that sense of achievement and accomplishment and just how good that feels, right? Now, I do just want to say this, okay? So if you wrote down a goal weight, that's completely fine. There's nothing like wrong with that. There's nothing inherently wrong with like a goal weight. Like, that's perfectly fine. But I want you to just go a little bit deeper and just say, what does that weight represent to me? So I love the fact that Melissa and Kerry, if for you it was like, yes, like your weight might have changed, but for you it was more so like, yeah, my clothes would not fit me. Like, I feel great in my clothes, or I feel well rested and energized, and like I can see through the whole day without like, you know, having a coffee or sugar or whatever it might be, right? So if you have a weight, like that's completely okay, but I just want you to just go a little bit deeper into what it is that would actually mean to you, because like it's not the weight that we want, right? We don't want to be like, oh my gosh, I'm 60 kilos, whatever it might be. It's not the inherent weight, it's what being at that 60 kilos means. So I really want you to be specific on that. So for me, I'm only a very small person, I'm like quite short, so for me 50 kilos is comfortable. Like, so for 50 kilos for me means I can just maintain my weight easily. I can eat lots of good food. I go to the gym a couple of times a week. I go for a walk with my dog in the morning, got lots of energy throughout the day, and life is great, right? So it's not the 50 kilos, my float clothes fit me really great. Like I just feel good. I look great, and I can put on an outfit and not have to stress about, the bits that are hanging out or whatever it might be, right? So for me, it's just comfortable and it's easy and it's lifestyle. Okay. So really dig deeper into what that weight means for you. Whereas when I was at a lighter weight, say 47, like when I was competing, that was hard work, grueling, moody, hated my life, hated my husband because, he couldn't like look at me sideways and I'd be like snapping at him, dreading going to the gym, dreading like, eating my chicken and broccoli and, hanging out for the next meal because I was starving, right? So even though the weight was less, it was the lifestyle that was not what I wanted, right? So who can really see that we need to look at what that represents, what that weight, or it could be a body fat percentage, right? Like it might be, I want to be X amount body weight. What does that number represent to you? Okay. So really just look at that. It's not the number, it's what it represents. Beautiful. Excellent. Love it. Excellent. I love that, Karen. Beautiful. Yeah, excellent, Carrie. And Carolyn, feel comfortable in myself. Yeah, exactly. It's just like feeling that sense of being comfortable, feeling that sense of like confidence, and not sort of, going out, say, into social situations and feeling a little bit like, not so confident or a little bit embarrassed or whatever it might be, right? So so I look at that, for me, and, I would sort of ask myself, like, what is more important? Like, would it be, say, the 50 kilos, or would it be like, the lifestyle and feeling good in my body, feeling good in my clothes, feeling energized all day? And like, yeah, I could be 51 kilos and have that, right? So again, it's like, what does that represent? Okay. Whereas if we're just obsessed on the number, we can sometimes, again, look at those results and not really see those results as the actual progress that we're making. Okay. So, oh, here comes my husband with coffee. Here we go. It's the best. Thank you. Now let me see what else we've got here. That's the last slide, so that's good. All right, so who's gotten a lot of value out of that? So who can really see, I guess, just the value in looking at where you are currently and where it is that you're going, and getting those really two specific points, like point A and point B. And then what we're going to do in the next 4 days together is we're really going to work out how we can then step you through this process of what those action steps are, right? But without knowing point A and point B, it's very difficult to know which direction to go in, right? So it's like if we are going to Airlie Beach, but we're in Hobart, that's going to be a very different journey from going to Airlie Beach if we're in Brisbane or Melbourne. Okay, so who can see why we really need to make those clear, those 2 points? And that coffee smells really good. All right, so let me know, give me a thumbs up if that's been a lot of value for you. And I really just want to encourage you to make sure that you take the time and you go through and you do the day one challenge, because what we're going to do tomorrow is when we come back, we're going to talk a lot about overwhelm. We're going to talk a lot about the way that your brain keeps you stuck. I love talking about this sort of stuff. This is like my jam. This is a lot of stuff in our program. We have what we call Magnetic Minds. It's like a beautiful transformational program. This is kind of like what I just like talk about all day. And I really think it's why, women get results, right? When we do look at this deeper aspect. So if you're kind of saying at the moment, like it's too hard, don't really understand, I don't really know what I'm doing. There's just too many things, or I don't get it. Am I doing it right? Is it wrong? Whatever, right? That's our brain, firing, in ways that perhaps we've thought in the past. So what we're going to be talking about tomorrow is how we can really just go through any of that self-sabotage, how, we can get the brain to start to work with us rather than against us. So that's what we're really going to dive into tomorrow. Okay. So just really noticing, I guess, when you go through those journeys, like anything in terms of like the emotional eating or the binge eating or the procrastinating and not going to the gym or doing the workouts, whatever it is, we're really going to just look at uncovering why that happens. Maybe it's, you say you're going to do one thing and then you do another, right? Again, that's a form of self-sabotage. So we're really going to talk about that tomorrow, and we're really going to step through and do a really transformational process to really just break past it. So thank you so much for you all for joining in today. I'm just going to stop sharing that, and I just want you to just perhaps just comment what the biggest takeaway for you from day one was. I really just want to hear from you, hear what your biggest aha moment was. And like I said, if you haven't had time to complete your day one activity yet, that's completely okay. If you can get that done like today or tomorrow, that's completely fine. But if you have that really clear picture where you are now, where you're going to, that's going to make those steps in between so much easier. So, and again, keep sharing in the group. This is a beautiful little community here, lots of amazing women. You can see that we're all kind of on the same page, all resonating in terms of looking at, wanting to improve our lives, improve our bodies. So yeah, awesome, Michelle. Acknowledge your progress, whatever it looks like. 100%. That is so, so true. So we're not unsuccessful. We are unsuccessful because we don't acknowledge the progress that we are making, right? So don't quit on yourself. Do not give up on yourself when you don't see the results that you think you should have. If you are committed to this process, you don't try, you take the word try out of it, your success is 100% inevitable. So I hope you have got a lot of value out of this. Tomorrow morning, like I said at the start, in case you weren't here, our call is going to be at 9 a.m, not 9:30. I have another coaching call at 10:30. So I just want to make sure if I do go a little bit over time, I'm 10 minutes over today, that we're not going to chop into that time as well. So if you have any questions, make sure that you comment below in the live video. And I really want to hear what your biggest learning and what your biggest takeaway from the training today, and also going through your day one activity as well. So thanks again. Have a great day. It was great to have you all here. Thank you for being so interactive and for all joining me live. And I will see you all in the morning. Cheers, ladies. Bye.